I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Is Will coming or do you know?
He is on his way.
On his way. All right, I need to get something from the office.
Hey, Rob.
How are you?
His area is bad. Freestyle is anyway. We just had to go to McDonald's.
How are you?
Take the McDonald's out front. Out. Because of the
I'm Phil. I'm Devin. Nice to meet you. Yes, sir. Yeah. Usually in Tammy, I'll do some drugs and bring it I don't.
We have this in there. Disagreement and terminated in 2 years.
You know what? Yes.
Maybe she.
Well, I got the.
But they went over the existing ordinance that's out there right now. And put the deal that it's got to be either reviewed, better, reinstate 100%, whatever it is. So I think she's going to want to add something. She's probably got it. We don't have to do something.
Okay. Be careful because it's ice.
I live with
All that. Stairs over.
Oh, when you look at her back door, I thought that was salt that was on the top. I was trying to go that way and then saw it. It's all right. Yeah.
Which one is that? No, you just said.
They both have very similar hearing personalities. That's what it's interesting to see what I haven't been late. I've been really kind of late.
Okay.
I'm here, I'll shoot you a text, but yeah, because we have school next week, which I'm working on. Yeah, so I'm kind of waiting to see when it's going to be. How everything goes along. How are you doing?
You just said it with.
I couldn't get it. I was trying to get here.
All right, the meeting will please come to order. We do have proof of posting and from Chapter 551 of Texas Government Code as amended, known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 5 minutes. Not, we'll move to item number 1 to approve the minutes of January 18th and January 24th meetings. Motion carried. Item number 2 is budget transfers and amendments.
There's one amendment in there, in certification.
Yes, there's a certification of $170.26 from Carson's Kona Ice of Huntsville.
I'll make a motion to approve budget transfers.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve and pay the bills.
Is there two sets of bills? Is there two sets of, you got one that has one amount on it and then
Tear the second page, it should have been tore off, because it was just, we added something to it and it,
the
yes,
second one needs to be. torn.
yes,
The one with the Omni-based services stays.
yes.
That's what we're missing.
Okay. Has Streetman already got those air tags? We paid $56,919. Have they already received them?
Yes.
Somebody see something that we're doing, make a motion to approve, pay the bill. I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 4 is to approve the payroll.
Judge Grant, I just noticed that I need to fix the dates up at the top on my report to you. I've got those dates wrong at the top, and so I'll go do another sheet here in just a minute, read the
Can
one
I
that's
just
already
mark that
signed.
out and write it on there?
So it should be 1/8 to 1/21.
Wait, 108? 108.
So January the 8th through January the 21st. Apparently looked at the calendar wrong.
By the way, before, I need to give you those, I need to talk about how we're gonna submit those, signed forms to, Angela. We have a motion on the payroll?
Make a motion.
All in favor, aye? Motion carries. Item number 5 is reports. Item number report from the district clerk for the month of December. And JP2 for December. Anybody else have a report? If not, do we have a motion to accept the reports?
I'll make a motion to accept the reports. Second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 6 is burn ban.
No action.
Somebody needs to set a fire.
No action.
Put warm things up.
I'll be sending plenty out there on the power line.
Item number 7, special road use agreements, permits and bonds.
We got one. For, County Road 445, out there by Russell's house. Crescent Pass, pipeline part, they're gonna bore the road, so they're not gonna be digging around, they're gonna bore inside the pasture to inside the other pasture. They shouldn't be messing around in the bar ditch or anything on the county road, so. So I'm good with that, just knowing that they're gonna have one on file, just the way it is.
Do you have a pipeline easement? Even though they're going to bore the pipe?
It's an existing easement,
Existing, okay, so
yes,
it's nothing.
so it's
to
not
do-
new construction, they're laying a line right beside another
Because you
line.
used to have to submit everything, you know, and when we crossed it.
Right, but like I say, they're not doing anything within the fences of the county road.
All right. Item number 8 is to approve bonds and education certificates. I have one from the VG Young for Mr. Will McSwain for successfully completing 20 and a half hours of education training with the elected judges and commissioners. We have a motion to approve the education certificate.
Make that motion.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 9 is the ACA reporting and tracking service. 2023 renewal confirmation program agreement. You want to say something about that?
What that is because we're a member of TAC, we're able to get our, under the Affordable Care Act, they said you had to send out 1095 Cs and no longer 1095 Bs, but at the time you had to send out both. Well, because we're a member of TAC, we are able to get TAC to do that for us at no charge, and they complete all that and then send it to me, and then we hand it out. There would be a charge if we had to mail it, but we don't. They don't bring it to us, but we do have to sign a contract each year. I think the deadline is like March 31st. We have to have that contract signed for the next year for them to do that for us.
We have a motion to approve the renewal confirmation program agreement.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor, aye? Any opposed? None, motion carried. Okay, back to this pipeline crossing agreement. We need a motion to approve this, if we're going to sign it and put it in the record.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept that.
Special agreement for a pipeline
Road use agreement.
road use agreement. It's not really a crossing, since it's under, is that right?
Cross under instead of over.
All right, okay, good. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, aye? Any
It's
opposed?
just
None,
we got-
motion carried. And that goes back to, number 7.
Okay. And that was to approve the road use agreement?
Yes.
On that road?
Yes.
445. Okay.
All right, item number 10. In order to have fireworks on Texas Independence Day, we have to authorize that.
I'm in.
That's a motion?
Motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Item number 11 is disposal of 5 Crown Victoria cars in the sheriff's office. And forget the rest of that, we're not gonna have a plan. All right, so, do we have a motion to dispose of those 5 Crown Victoria cars?
I'll make that
What we're
motion.
gonna do is do closed bids, remember?
Yes, they go out for bids to do that, to dispose.
Yeah.
That should be in the motion. The motion should be approval to go out for bids for disposal of 5 Crown Victoria cars.
We look at that, Judge and I did.
We can't get rid of it based on the fact of the greenhouse gas clause.
Well, it's that low emission, but we're not replacing them with,
Well, the way it was before, there's 2 different statutes and you can't combine the 2 different statutes. And if we were gonna just dispose of them like that, it has to be a plan for,
Replacement.
replacement of, can't remember the exact
Low
words.
emission.
Low emission, and low emission is not something that could be used.
I thought we went out for bids for them 5 years ago.
it was, what was on there is to go out on gov deals. It wasn't to do it closed bids. It was 5 years ago, yeah.
We're gonna put that little rascal in the paper for 2 weeks and see if anybody does a bid, and if not, then we can move
Right,
on.
and the sheriff indicated he's trying to get here to touch on that topic with you. He's delayed getting here.
With what?
What we're discussing right
Right now?
The sheriff indicated he's coming in, so if he just asked if you just hold on that for a minute. He'll be here in a minute.
All right, we can come back to that.
Thank you, Judge.
Was there a motion?
Yes.
I rescind.
Rescind, okay. Number 12, a deed for the old Mahia Road. You like to
Yes, ma'am. Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Just catch you up to speed on a couple of things while this item's on the agenda. The FEDC got a grant about 18 months ago for $950,000 to rehabilitate, to redo that old Mahia Road from I-45, the west frontage, down to the industrial park. Well, one of those requirements is have to run title on it, show them a deed. So I ran title on it, found the deed, and it's in Freestone County instead of the city of Fairfield. It's a half-a-mile stretch there. There is a good deed, 50-foot wide, center line deed from the adjacent property owners to the county of Freestone. And what we need to do in order to process that and keep moving forward with the EDA grant and get that money is we've got to get it titled in the city of Fairfield. Now, the city will accept it. They'll put it on their agenda the next meeting, and they've indicated they will accept it if you grant it to them. And also, they've been taking care of it, I think, over 25 years. The precinct 3 sign used to be all the way down there by the industrial park, where it said maintenance begins. And so the city's been maintaining it forever, and they don't mind continuing to do so. But in order for us to get that grant money and rehabilitate that road, it's going to be a 24-foot wide concrete street all the way down there. So it'll be good for traffic to the industrial park. So,
Is that the road that goes by Mustang Diesel down
yes,
through there?
yes, sir.
I guess you do know that precinct 4 has some voters at the very end of that on the left-hand side. I have one family that votes down there for me. So are y'all gonna maintain that all the way to the end, or are you just gonna maintain it down to where your industrial park's at?
We'll just to the industrial park, because that's all the real estate will own officially. I mean, it's just that section. The city limits comes through there, right there. That's the end of the city limits, is there at the industrial park. So So, we'll have, we only got a grant to go from I-45 west down to the curve there where the new street begins at the industrial park.
So where it goes in that plant down there,
That's way too far. I mean, that's all county
That's
road.
mine.
well, so I got some, but I have
I
some
don't think
voters.
you do.
I have some voters that, I know I have two down there.
Okay.
That live on the left-hand side, there's a little piece of that thing down there that are mine. So, or you're gonna maintain it down to a certain point, and then we're gonna maintain it on?
Yes, sir, that's how it's been for years anyway, but our maintenance will, what we'll be maintaining, I said, the city will be maintaining it, they're maintaining it now, but when it becomes a concrete street, they'll continue to maintain it. They're gonna continue to maintain it after it's rehabilitated.
Well, we had some difficulties with the city maintaining the one down by State Farm, because they didn't maintain it, it was terrible, and then we had to maintain it on there as well. It was in precinct 3, and the rest of it was in precinct 4.
Well, I'll be glad to work with you, because this affects the industrial park, and I have control over that, so.
The thing about it, nothing's gonna change on this.
Yeah, they ain't gonna-
They're just gonna put it, it's gonna be
I
a nice
understand,
road.
I understand they're gonna have a nice road all the way down there, and then all of a sudden it's gonna go back to a county road.
Right,
I understand.
Like it is now.
yeah. I'll make a
Trying to see
motion.
if you were trying to see if you could get a little extra maintenance going on down
You
there.
know, everything else.
That's right, that's right. I got you.
Anytime I
We
can
had
move that-
950,000.
If I can help move that sign, I'll go ahead and do
Stretch
that.
that, get 2 miles out of it.
I can get you 6/10 of a mile right now for sure, but anyway, be glad to help in what I can. And also put the proposed deed has a reservation of all oil, gas, and other minerals in it as well.
Reservation.
Because y'all own the fee simple on, other roads and, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we deed that portion of that road to city.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. Item 13, consider a replat of part of Lot 7 and all of Lot 8, Block 2, Southside Shores, into Lot 7R, Block 2, Southside Shores. You want to look at that and see if, so they contacted you about that? I think if it's just a replat, I don't know that there's anything.
Is there anything that anybody knows that hadn't been taken care of on all the proper?
Well,
Taxes.
on the original, I don't know about that, we'd have to look at that, but on the original plat, they confirmed the water and availability and all of those things that we look at for a plat. But this is just changing the line. Is there a sheet inside there? Usually there's a sheet that says that with the tax.
I have to make sure all the signatures are on there, like the surveyor, because we haven't received them when they get to sign on
Yeah.
them. Is the person here that's gonna be filing and paying
Here?
to have filed?
Let's see the person.
Okay.
Jackson, I don't see the,
Well, I didn't see the problem on this one. Just says, does that one say Nevada County? wells are on the other side.
It's just stated county of Rivera, no, off man, it's just, it does say Rivera County.
Well, that's just the, acknowledgement there. We could change that to say Freestone County. That is actually in Freestone County, is that right? South side.
Well, can we just table this until we look at
We
it?
surely can. That's a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. We'll table that to next time. All right, item number 14 is a presentation about Export Center. Roger.
Good morning. First of all, thank y'all for y'all's time and opportunity to come here and visit with y'all. For you that don't know me, my name is Roger Neville. I'm a 20-plus year resident in Freestone County, and with me I brought Mr. Fred Whitfield. For y'all that don't know Fred, he's an 8-time world champion calf roper, one of the most decorated professional rodeo cowboys in the industry. Together now, Fred and I operate what's called FW Productions, where we travel across the country doing clinics and breakaways and stuff. And through my travels, man, we have been to every county in Texas that has Expo Center. We don't have one. I've done some visiting, some due diligence with the city, trying to get with them, and man, we just can't get no traction. So my next opportunity was going to come to you guys and see what the interest is of the county participating in putting together an Expo Center. And in doing so, it's not to compete with the fair downtown, not trying to move it, not trying to compete with the 4th of July Rodeo and TIG, but something for the county, for the kids. We just, man, we're missing a ton of opportunities here, you know, not having a facility like that. And when you look at Fairfield, all of the ancillary stuff that we need to do so, hotels, restaurants, they're here. Our hotels are about 30% utilization occupancy, you know, any given time of the year, so there's plenty of that ancillary stuff to support it. Fred's participation in this is, you know, the leverage. You look at Limestone County, Leon County, they have nice facilities, but they're underutilized because they're not marketing. They're not marketing it. It's no different when you guys run for office, you market yourself to get in. Well, this is the same thing. Fred and I have had several conversations with some of the people that he has worked with throughout his career, such as Cinch, Tough Hedeman Bull Riding Challenge, the USTRCA. You know, them guys would be interested in coming here if we had a facility such. And the tax dollars and the revenue that would bring to Freestone County is just, it's unbelievable. We looked at some, you know, between here and TIG. That way, you know, when they leave, they have to come through TIG or Fairfield to get home, which means eating, getting gas, whatever. The cost of operating, I know I talked to some of you guys that was, you know, the burden of that. I've spoken with the sheriff, he was supposed to be here this morning. You know, I've got full support with him using trustees. I mean, that's what Freestone County, they have 3 trustees, or not Freestone, but Limestone County, they have 3 trustees work Monday through Friday out there every day if there's, that's how they kind of keep their, you know, budget down on the operating side. You know, depending on the, you know, participation or the interest you guys, Fred and I will go back and do some more due diligence, put together a budget of what this thing looks like, what it's going to cost to build it, what it would cost to maintain it, you know, annually, and then, you know, show you guys what type of revenue we think this thing could bring. Before we, you know, in doing that, that's going to cost a little out of pocket money. We don't have a problem doing that as long as, you know, there's going to be some interest from you guys to really take a hard look and say, you know, this is something worth looking at, or no, it's too big of a burden, you know, for the county.
We've talked about it before.
Yes, ma'am.
At one time, several years ago, we were serious about trying to do something, and at that time, the city said they were going to build one, so we never moved forward with anything. city didn't either. So I think it would be something that we will need to do a little research about too. Maybe look into getting some grants to see if that would help with our situation. But I think it's something that we want to talk about again. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just me saying that now. So.
I think it's a good idea. I think, I've talked with people about this 4 or 5 years ago, about doing one from private ownership and offering, $500,000 buy-in positions on something like that. And also doing a sports complex with multiple baseball fields and all that. So I think it would be a good deal, like the judge, if we could get some grant money. I think the main thing would just make sure we don't create a burden for the county, because I have no clue what upkeep cost and stuff like that on one is, but I know that we could probably reach out to the judge in Leon County and get some kind of figures from them.
Like I said, we tried to rekindle the flame of the big complex up behind McDonald's when that was it, and we just, the interest isn't there.
Well, I know it's a large investment.
It is.
Even just building a big covered arena is a large investment. We've talked about that before too, but there have been different sources of funds that we have seen before, more along the parks area type, but if it could be a park area type, it might could fit this into some of those types of grants. And so I think I'm willing to look at it and see what we can find. And I'm not saying that we're going to do it, but I'm certainly willing to look at it and see what resources that we can get and see if it would work for Freestone County.
Yes, ma'am. I talked to one of the commissioners, and they told us that, or give me kind of a hint that there might be some property available around the prison. And after digging, Fred and I was in Edna, Texas 3 months ago. Yeah. And that was on some state donated property. And the Texas Parks and Wildlife funded that whole, give them a grant and funded that whole facility. And it is, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Edna. It is a fine facility. I mean, it's a Austin stone and all that, but that lady told us that the Texas Parks and Wildlife granted that because it was, some state donated property. So I don't know how that would begin to,
We can talk to them, but we can't talk to them until after this week because we're working on our state park out here, so we don't want to throw something else at them right now.
I understand.
But we'll have that resolved hopefully this week, and then we certainly will reach out to them too.
Okay.
They have money, we know that. So.
Exactly.
Roger, what's in it for y'all? I mean, what would y'all be doing with it? I mean, other than promoting bull rides and camp ropings and breakaways, and I mean, is there anything else y'all would be doing?
So I mean, there's several ways to skin this cat. Our first reaction is, and I talked to Fred about it, and he talked to Ms. Whitfield, but Fred moving to Freestone County, and us handling the promotions part of it, not the county having that burden, and scheduling and booking the events. Unlike where Limestone and Leon, they have actually one of the commissioners that runs those. In return, we want to hold some events there, such as some roping clinics. Fred does some horse training and some one-on-one, use it for that as well. Not trying to get the county to build us a personal playground, but stuff like that would help promote it. I mean, we get it built, and called Gold Buckles Don't Lie Arena, tag it like that, where it brings, it's all about marketing. So in return, that's what kind of, we would want to have access to it, a couple of times a year to do our clinics and,
schedule it just like everybody else.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And that brings lots of kids to those clinics.
Exactly. We, and that's all Fred caters to on his clinics is kids. And that's what got my interest, in it. I love doing it.
All right.
Any other questions?
I think we should try to get some information, and
Okay.
we will try to research some grants and see what we can
Well, I think most of the commissioners have got no numbers, have got any questions?
What about, have y'all got a ballpark figure? I mean,
$10 million.
Hmm?
10 million.
Okay, that was my question.
That's the, now,
That's
that-
all,
that's if we have to buy the land, that's, you know, if everything has to be purchased, and that's a nice arena, that's an Edna style,
how many stalls they got?
100.
Yeah, you just near didn't start, you gotta have that.
Actually, there was more than that, they have a whole barn full of stalls.
There's probably around 160 of that. Yes, sir.
How many RV spots?
They had 100 RV spots in Edna. And what we're looking at is similar to Leon, the big event center, and then have a secondary arena. You know, they have the big US Opens, you know, y'all actually go to your second cap over here. You gotta have that to accommodate those bigger events, but that wouldn't be near as nice as the main event center. But, you know, it's a lot of money.
Depending, we can do some of it, you could add things as you
You
go.
could crawl and run, exactly. But we just, you know, if we do it, we just think, you know, you kinda got one shot at it. You know, do it right the first time, we're not really gonna do it.
All right. Let's take about a 5-minute break. And then we'll come back, talk with the sheriff.